Controlled QC?
What?
I know. Let me explain. So, to lay some groundwork, yesterday on my Instagram, I posted a poll. And the poll was asking the question that you see on the screen, right? When Tamashii reissues a figure, do you think the QC is better? And, it didn't fit the whole word of better, so for the third option, I put better is supposed to be the last word, don't mind this. Even though some of y'all ended up voting for that, which kind of skews this a little bit, but the whole basis is that I didn't just do that for no reason. If anything, to know about me, Bombastic.
Always got a few tricks up his sleeve.
And by this so-called trick, basically what I'm saying is there's always a method to my madness, right? And the whole point was yesterday on Goku Day when I did take this survey, make this poll, it was to get results for this video, and here are the poll results. Now, before we even really get into it, and before somebody says this, so I know somebody's gonna say it, people are impatient and can't wait for people to explain stuff. I know this is an extremely small sample size. This poll would have been better done by somebody like Tamashii, or if I had a following similar to that size, it would have been much better if the poll was taken then. And then also some people skewed it by voting for the third option, which was not an option in the first place, but it is what it is. But the point being is this: 73% of the people that voted, yeah, the QC does tend to be better. And that's more or less what I thought it was going to be. Not specifically the number 73%, but that it would largely outweigh the people that voted no, the QC isn't always better. And what made me think of this in the first place, right? What made Bombastic think of this in the first place? And I'll get to that in 1 second. The man of the hour, Future Trunks, is what made me think of this theory in the first place. Now, what do you mean Future Trunks? So if you don't know about Future Trunks, just to give you a brief TLDR for the people that don't know, Future Trunks was a figure that when it was revealed in what was that, the 2022 Tokyo show, along with Vegeta, with his Super Saiyan repaint. It was a figure that was highly anticipated, to say the least. It was on a brand new mold. It looked way better than the old Trunks. It was just like a lot of hype surrounding it. Like this was like, yo, this is gonna be it's basically a goated figure, right? In fact, even with all the problems that it ended up having, and to get to that point, when it was finally dropped, right? For the people that don't know or may not know, this figure was riddled with QC issues, right? It had arm was falling off. What was another? Loose legs, loose hips. The abdomen was put in backwards. It was like, what the heck is going on? How did Tamashii manage to make a blunder like this with such a popular character? That's all that kept on going through my mind. Like, this felt like a sabotage or something, like an inside job to sabotage the company or something. Because how did y'all manage to blow it with Future Trunks? Out of all characters, Future Trunks? Top 5 most popular characters in a franchise. And that's not an exaggeration at all. Future Trunks, y'all managed to have this level of blunder with? It didn't make any sense to me, to be honest. It made no sense. Now, to be fair, I don't know anything about figure production, to be fair. But something that really irked me was that, not really irked me, but it was kind of like things that make you go, When now that they reissued this figure, the reissue came out, sometime late last month, right? For this figure, it has no QC issues. The reissue has no QC issues. And it's like, how'd y'all manage to do that? And the reason why that's a big deal to me is because I haven't heard a single peep, not a single picture posted online of this figure having bad QC on the reissue end, right? And I'm like, how'd y'all manage to do that? And if y'all can do that, why can't we replicate that on the first go around? Why did it have to happen on the second go around? Now, to be fair, like I said, I don't know anything about figure production, but isn't that strange? Because also, once again, I used the poll that I took as context. Do you think Tamashii Nation's figures tend to be better on the reissue, the QC? And a lot of people said, yeah. Most people agreed, yeah. Now, of course, there were some detractors, but that's fine. There's always room for error. But How could they manage to do that on the second try around, where not a single picture that I see online where it was bad QC, not super tight joints, like for example the new Super Saiyan Gohan that came out, where the joints are so tight that like the leg, people are articulating the leg and snapping it off. Typically I don't really run into that issue, because I'll if I feel my figure is super stiff or squeaking too much when you articulate the leg, I'll run it under some hot water to loosen that plastic up, or soften it up rather. So I don't really worry about that too much. But how does it always seem to be something wrong with the figure? And this theory is in particular for general releases. How can they have these issues and then automatically just fix them? What's different in the process that these things are fixed? What happened between that first batch of Trunkses that were released as opposed to the second batch, right? What happened different in that process, and why can't the same process that was used for example, that second batch of Trunkses, the reissue, be used for the rest of their figures? What happened? How did they make it so the QC was so good? That's my point. Why does it seem like this never-ending pattern of general releases having some type of QC issue, and then on a reissue it's much better? It seems like a ploy to double dip, right? Like I said, you build up a ton of hype for a character, people are gonna pre-order and buy the figure off that hype, and then once we have it in hand, it's like, oh, it's too late, we already bought it, right? The money has already been made. And then you double dip by showing that, hey, people get the reissue, and then word of mouth spreads, yo, the reissue is much better. And now you're getting your sales up again. I don't know. Y'all can tell me if I'm bugging or not. Like I said, this is a conspiracy. This is just something that I noticed, and I felt that the poll reflected a little bit of what I believed of this conspiracy. It could be that I'm bugging. I could be completely way off, If you disagree, you disagree. But like I said, it's just a conspiracy. And with that being said, this has been BombasticPlastic. Oh wait, matter of fact, I remember hearing about when the Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out, right? I think it was an issue with the ankle, and then on the reissue, the ankle issue was just magically gone. Things that make you go, how do we keep on running into this? The first run has QC issues, and then the second run doesn't have QC issues. How does this pattern keep on happening? But with that being said, I only listed those two figures, and maybe with the reissue of this Super Saiyan Gohan in the future, maybe it'll have better QC, and then you can refer back to this video and go like, Either way, like I said, not a video to lambaste or to go in on Tamashii, just something that I noticed, and a little food for thought, get people to wonder and think, and I think it makes for a good discussion. But with that being said, this has been BombasticPlastic. Stay fantastic. Have a blessed day. Thank you all for watching. I always appreciate it. Peace.